and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music Podcast Edition. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Heather Baker.
Yeah, and we are here with Steve Noonan. Welcome.
Hi, nice. Thanks for having me, Ann.
Yeah. We're super excited, and we want to talk about your upcoming album. But first, I'm just going to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a long history locally, but you went to Berkeley School of Music or college, and
That's true. Yeah, I went to Berkeley College of Music after I went to a regular college. So I got a business degree, then I went to College of Music. And then I went to recording school after that, recording engineering school in Florida. And so then after that, I moved back up to Minnesota to work in the recording biz. And I landed a job at Pachyderm Discs.
Nice.
It's actually an internship. So I worked there for about, maybe almost a year. And then a friend of mine was working at Paisley Park Studios, and of course I wanted to get in there because it's the biggest game in town, Prince's recording studio, and I was lucky enough to get in there. And I started out with Prince as a recording engineer, assistant engineer, and then moved into the big chair as the main engineer.
Nice.
And I did that for a few years. And learned a lot, and then got some stories, had some fun. Some things that weren't so fun, but all in all, a very good experience. I learned a lot, and I have a lot. Only thanks to Prince for teaching me a lot of what I knew, what I know about recording. And
nice.
he was a good teacher in, not that he took the time to teach you, but things that you learn along the way. And as a songwriter and artist myself now, I understand some of the things that he was going through. For instance, the things, well, I won't go too off on a tangent. So then.
Oh, no, please. Because that would be the first thing I would ask. Yeah. Give us an example if you can.
Well, he was famous for wanting to finish things in the middle of the night or go until, 6 a.m. after you've been there for 12 hours, 14. But as a songwriter now, I can understand it. When you're working on your own song, you don't really get tired like the people that you're bringing along with. Because it's your thing. You're focused on it. You want to get it done. So that's one example. So, but after that, then I kind of got out of the music business after I ran that, and I did a few other things in the business world. But a few years back, I started getting the songwriting itch again because I was always a musician, even when I was working as an engineer. I was still writing songs and singing, and so I started writing songs again and cut an EP just to get some gigs around town, Minnesota, Minneapolis. And I thought, well, it's good enough, a 3-song EP, I'll just release it, And then I started writing more songs and realized, I want to get back into the studio as an artist, not as an engineer. It's more fun to be on that side of the glass. So I've been playing with a group of guys, Nick Salisbury and Blair Krevenek and Tim Zorney. They were my main guys. And we cut a record down in Nashville. And I used a guy named Dustin Burnett as producer. Did a great job. He's doing really well and really talented. And that album, was really fun to make. And then I made another one after that called I Could Be Anywhere. And that one was an 8-song record. And I used Dustin Burnett as a producer again and brought the same guys down to Nashville to work in a studio down there. And that was fun for me because everyone was there and there were no distractions for home life. Everyone was there and we stayed together, and I rented a house, and it was just a lot of fun to make. So then I ran my course with those, and I did a little radio campaign, and got some radio play using those 2 records, using Tinderbox here locally, and about 100 stations played songs from that. And then I had plans to make a bunch of songs, and I had plans to cut this record probably 2 years ago, but because of the pandemic, I kind of put things on hold. And luckily in 2021, we got it done. So I used studio up in Ham Lake, Studio 65, and Chris First produced it. Talented guy. He's a great musician. He played guitar for me for quite a bit, and then he opened up a studio, and now he's a producer, engineer, great engineer, and a musician. So that's the record that we got out of that. So Chris First produced that, and we've got 13 songs on this record. So I'm happy to have it done and in the can, and happy to talk about it.
Great. Great. When I listening to it, what's so funny, the accent is very, very different, but there's a reminding me of Billy Bragg, who's someone I love to listen to,
Oh,
but it's the storytelling, I think,
oh,
that
right.
you do so much of. And it's just at a very high level, it seems to be a lot of music about relationships and connections.
That's true, and I put a lot of importance on the words in the song. So I make sure the rhymes are well, and I make sure there's meaning behind them. For instance, I'll just give an example on "It's All Gone Wrong" is about going to a party with a friend who gets too drunk, and you're left trying to clean up the mess, and then also on "Wake Up With You," the second song on the album, that's about a first date that went really well, and you're talking about it the next day. So you had a really good time with that person, and you're ready to move on to the next level. So you're right, there are some, and then there's also a song about breaking up with someone on the phone. Never easy or happy.
No.
So those are some of the sources of the songs. I mean, some are biographical, some are autobiographical, some are just ideas that I adopt or that I hear, I think about. So for instance, the one I mentioned about going to the party with someone who drinks too much, that was all made up. Didn't really happen. So it happened, but it never happened to me. So yeah, I mean, I put a lot of emphasis on the words, and I want to fit the melody and the emotion of the song. So that's really where I'm coming from with the lyrics.
What's funny with "Wake Up With You," my note is that's the kind of song you'd like someone to write about you.
Yeah, I wrote that after I had been married, so I can't say that it was autobiographical, but yeah, that's the phrase. I think I started that song with just the first phrase, "New day, and I have to rise and shine." So, and I thought, well, what was I thinking about the night before? And then it just kind of built upon itself. Wake up with you, I like for the words the phonics of the word to match the melody.
Yeah.
Let me think of an example. Or a great band who used to do that, I thought really well, is The Cure. Robert Smith really used phonics of the world, like that song "Caterpillar Girl."
Yeah.
Caterpillar Girl. Excuse me one second. I just had to put down my whiskey. So I do place I like that in the words to actually match the rhythm of the song.
When I was reading about you, you said you learned from Prince, or that he knew how to really show the emotion. And after or listening to I definitely think you captured that.
Well, thanks, Heather. Yeah, it's nice of you to say. Yeah. I mean, I try. Yeah, Prince was a good teacher when it came to emotions. He he knew how to do it. So I think that's a good thing to have in any musical piece. Really, is you want to have someone emote. Bring the emotion to the song and actually make someone feel something. Otherwise you could just listen to a cowbell going all day long with no melody, no nothing. So yeah, I'm glad that I appreciate you saying that. That was one of my goals.
Oh, I thought you were frozen. Sorry.
Oh, that was just me being still. Sorry. I'll keep.
No, it's okay. Well, I was listening to a TED Talk the other day, and they were saying for sorrow or blah, 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 D minor, is there something when you're going to play and wanting to capture emotion that you always gravitate to a certain sound or a chord or whatever, and then along with the 12 string guitar, I'm assuming you have a wider range than most playing with
Well,
that.
I do own 4 12-string guitars.
Jeez.
I do own, but they're 2 of them are the same brand. They're Burns double sixes, and I really like their tone and the sound. They're kind of a obscure guitar. Not a lot of people know about them. They have a dedicated following. They're British, an old British guitar. I love the way they sound, the way they feel. And then I have 2 Acoustics 12-string guitars made by Martin. And I actually have a 5th one in the process. I'm having a custom 12-string guitar made that's going to have a blue burst on it and a custom pick card. It's going to be pretty trick. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to be a big jumbo. That's going to be a big one. It's probably going to be my main instrument playing live when I play acoustic. I need a few different acoustics or different 12 strings because when I play live, I have songs that need a capo. And a capo does some strange things to a 12 string because you have to put them on pretty hard.
Oh, I suppose.
To get every string to ring, you have to put them harder than the bass strings need to be. So they make them go sharp. So it's not the best thing to change it, in between songs because you have to tune the guitar, So I'll have a set 12 strings with the capo on it and set without. But the 12 string is my go-to instrument, and that's I don't know, I just gravitated toward it once I really got to know it. I mean, I remember hearing it when I was younger and not really realizing that was a 12 string. I just thought that acoustic guitar sounds so good. Why doesn't mine sound like that? And then I realized, oh, it's a different instrument. So that's when I started playing it more and more. And then I don't even own a 6-string guitar at this point in time, which is kind of strange. I probably should get one, but I always, when I start writing or thinking or playing, I just pick up the 12 string,
It must feel like you have more options. I mean, I don't want to say it's a better tool, but it's a more diverse tool. Just having 12
there
strings.
is, yeah, there's more to it. There's a different way to play it. And Heather, to your question too, I didn't quite answer it. There are certain things that I use on the 12 string. I like to use open chords, meaning some of the strings ring open while I fret some others, no matter if they're high or low up on the fretboard. I don't just use all first position chords, and I have a lot of tensions in there. So not just straight triad chords. And the musicians I play with will attest to that because the charts I write out are pretty precise, and I'll have everything I play. I know what they are. I know what the chords are, so I'll write the chords out. And sometimes they're, B minor 7, add 13. But don't put the 11 in there. This is music talk. When I say add 13, that doesn't mean, add the 9 and the 7, I'm very specific. So all the people I play with know I'm kind of a precise guy when it comes to charts. And it actually helps because when I get these tunes to their final form and I'm happy with them and I give them to the people I play with, to the band, I'll send them a guitar vocal rough, just me and the way I play it on the guitar, and then the chart. And the chart has melody, chords, and rhythmic notation rests above the staff. It's kind of my own little formula that I use. It's very helpful though. So when we get together, a lot of times we first play a song and I think, man, that sounds pretty good. Everyone knows the chords, they read it, no mistakes, and then we're just more fine tuning. So it makes for rehearsals to go really smoothly if you have good charts and good musicians that know how to read them. And of course, you want the songs to be good. That allows them to spread their wings and add a lot of their special sound to it. That's one thing on this record, Dreamland, this new record of mine that I'm really happy about, is that the musicians that played on it, Jordan Headland, for instance, played piano. Matt McIntyre played bass. Timmy Zorni played drums. Elise Jones sang harmonies. Lauren Burrell sang harmonies. A guy in Hawaii, Josh Hurl, who I met a couple years back when I played a few gigs on Maui. He played the bulk of the electric guitar, but Blair Krevenek plays guitar on it, and Chris First plays some electric guitar. And Tommy Barbarella plays keyboards on it. Tommy Barbarella from Prince days and from everything else, great player. So he's played on the last 2 records of mine. It's fun playing with him rather than me recording him, watching him play, So those people, to wrap it up, they are great to hear all their unique thumbprints put on these songs, because when I hear them after we finish playing them, as opposed to just me and my acoustic guitar, they really blossom. So that's the gratifying part of this record, is really hearing those musicians play on the records and hearing it in fine audio form. And you really hear the song in its full, soaring, blooming essence, you know?
I'm going off that. I'm wondering what, you had worked with the Nashville guy for the first two, and then you moved to Studios 65 with Chris. Since you have such a vision and precise, do they get to seep in a little bit and give a little bit of style or direction, or have you noticed anything, I guess?
Oh yeah, they had a big input, yeah. Because, well, I would just communicate with them. I wanted it to sound, big, and I came across Dustin Burnett by hearing another band that he had mixed. So he didn't know me. I just contacted him. I heard him a few of his mixes, and he's done really well now. He's also known as Jade Wolf. So he's a great musician. He's gotten back into being an artist. He used to be more of a producer engineer. Now he's really an artist, but he can still produce, sure. But he and I talked about what we wanted and the sound, and he brought it. He was a great keyboardist, and the same thing with Chris First. I told him, I want the songs to be big sounding, not just stripped down. I want instrumentation, some keyboards with pads that really add to the songs. Sometimes you hear songs that they have a little keyboard pad in the background. You almost don't notice it, but if you take it away, all of a sudden it's missing something. It's kind of like a warm blanket, for the song. So we talked about general things like that, Heather, I did to the producers, and then they came through with the goods.
Well, I wonder what your experience, if it makes you the best or the worst to work customer. You always say every night, you never want to be a doctor's. You never want to teach teachers because it's so hard. But you come to it with such a level of specificity, and you have the language that someone who didn't have the background, both educational and experiential, that you have would have. I'd say you must lift everybody higher as you work together. Well,
I think there's a little of both of that. I lift producers higher, they lift me higher. So I guess that's true. I come in with a little more of a different perspective than just a musician who just went to music school and that's it. Now I'm here. Here are the songs. Mold me, But I think, yeah, and I think we did a little of both of that. We lifted both each other up. I would hope. But I think I'm pretty easy to work with. I mean, these guys that I work with, they're very easy to work with. They're such nice guys. Chris First, Dustin Burnett, all the musicians I play with. They are so easy to work with in the studio. That's one of my favorite things to do is going to the studio. And I hang out with Chris all the time now anyway, even when we're not working on music. But so yeah, it was a good experience. And I think we lifted each other higher.
Good. I don't, in my own work, sometimes there are people and I love working with them, but I know I've got to work harder. They're closer to what I do, which I think does lift everybody,
Right. You have to know when to throttle back a little or, plant the seed. Sometimes you can put it in question form, do you think, even though you might think that guitar is really bad, and do you think we need to change that at all? You don't just say, get rid of that. I guess it's a way of maneuvering, putting it, using honey instead of vinegar.
Absolutely.
Well, I like that.
Absolutely. Can I go back to the music a little bit? One of the songs that I really enjoyed is Either Way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know if hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Either Way, it's one of my favorites too. That's why I put it first on the record. It's about the decision that an individual has to make, whether you want to go out and get life or just kind of sit back and sleep the day away. The first line of the song is 12 o'clock and you are not sure if it's day or night. So if you slept till 12 and you don't know what's going on and people are out doing things, you really have to get on it, if you want to make things happen, and you have to face uphill. It's going to be an uphill battle, but there's really you have to choose. It's either way you're going to do it or you don't do it. If you want results, then you have to choose the path of it's going to be a little harder, and there might be a little bit of setbacks, but that's okay.
I was gonna say, it feels like perfect timing right now of time
Yeah.
and disorientated and questioning many. Yes, yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's, I guess you could call it a motivational song maybe, or yeah, I guess a song that is just a song that says that you should be cognizant of what you're trying to do in life, you know? Are you going to sit back and let it go by, or are you going to take part in it? And I'm trying to take part in it, like you both are.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I sent it to, I was out with my eldest daughter's 23 last night. And she was at a point where I was like, oh, I have the song for you. I have the song for you. Because she's just right at that age where she has to be making some decisions.
Oh, there you're back.
Did I free?
Yep.
Yep. Shoot. I was saying I was out with my daughter last night, who is 23, and I told her I have the song for you. Because she's just at that point where she's trying to figure out what to do and how far to take it. I said, this song feels like you're at the precipice, and you got to make a decision. I think it's motivational in that way. Absolutely.
Inspiring and motivational,
Oh,
like
good.
guide you to be mindful of your choices and how to approach life, I guess, a little bit. So it took, you know what, I kind of, it reminded me a little bit of another local musician too, Bob Mould. You, in that song, your voice, I was like, wait, what is this reminding me of? And I loved it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, well, that's high praise. You know, I'm a fan of Bob Mould, you know. I remember his record, his first solo record, I think, was done at Paisley Park. Great record. I remember Heidi Hanshu, who was the studio manager at the time I worked there, worked on that record. What was the name of that? Well, anyway, thank you for that compliment. Yeah, I'm a fan, and if you can put me in that company, I'm happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so fun to hear your stories. It has such a spider web of all these connections.
Yes, they are kind of story-like. I mean, Dreamland, the title track, for instance, is actually about a dream. That's really, you know, that's why I call the album that, because there was a common thread of these songs with sleeping and waking up and dreaming. And that one is actually about, you know, in when you're in a dream, how the time is distorted and how things are backwards clocks running backwards, and you're flying across cities. So that one is that's the story of that one. It's just you're in a dream and then starting to wake up, and there's that blurry area right in between awake and asleep that I always found fascinating. So I wanted to try and match the music with that topic, you know. That's why people haven't heard it yet, but when they do, they'll see it's more of more ethereal, more cloud-like, I guess, you know.
I like this. There's sort of just an instrumental bit in, you know, about 2/3 through the song, and that I was like, oh, this is like a little dream now. This is it. I love that part of it.
Oh yeah, the piano solo, yeah, that was done live with a full band. That wasn't overdubbed, that solo. We thought we should probably get a solo here, and then we listened to it and we thought, we don't need one. What he played, what George played, and he agreed. What he just played, and we were recording the full tracks, but the band stuck and we liked it. So I'm glad we did.
That comes back to the charting that you do.
In a way, yeah. I mean, we had learned the song, and he just played a good solo just on the fly. You know, many times, as you know, you go back and you'll cut a guitar solo over the song. You'll try it a few times and get a good one you like. This one just happened right at the spur of the moment. So it could be my charts could be a contributor to that. You know what was coming. I think it was just luck, you know, that he played something really well the first time.
Well, luck favors the prepared.
Yes, good one.
So that's good. The other song that I wanted to hear a little bit more about is Lying to Myself.
Yeah, Lying to Myself. Now that one's in a way a sad song.
Yeah.
That's about a guy who is watching someone. I think that's the one. He's watching someone sleep. Well, yeah, he's lying to himself because he. Let me just make sure I'm thinking of the right song. Right, yeah. Now I remember. Lying to myself. Yeah, he's just thinking that, well, I know you don't love me like I love you, but I'm just gonna keep lying to myself just to stay with you. So I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. I'll go through the motions, and I'll just pretend that you have the same devotion to me as I have of you. So in a way, it's, as I said, sad, but it's happy in that he gets to stay with the same girl, but the way that he'd like. So he's just going to continue lying to himself, but he's okay with that for now.
I like the for now.
Yeah. We don't know how long that'll last. But yeah, I should look at the words. I'm trying to think of the last phrase. Well, yeah, I can't remember it offhand.
I was wondering if you were trying to sing
song.
in your head while trying to figure out. I was like, you could sing it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's basically what I just described. Yeah, he's resigned to the fact for now that he knows, he's aware of it. It's not the same emotion coming back to him as he's giving out to her, but at least he's with her, so he'll accept it for now. He'll just keep on lying to himself. Maybe it'll change, but we don't know for sure.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know, and I want to ask about every song, but I don't, because the other one that I really liked was When You Know.
Yes, When You Know. Now, that's about coming of age, going from not child to adult, but going to a point in your life where you're an adult now and things are going to have to stick. So that's what that's about, really, a coming of age song. When you know have more to learn, when you know there's no return, when you're an adult, that's when it'll come. And things are not going to be the same anymore, and you have to live with your consequences and be happy with it.
So it's opposite of Dreamland then when you become an adult, right?
Well, you could be an adult and dream
back.
Yeah, When You Know is when you're awake. Definitely, it's more of a slap of reality. So in that respect, it's kind of opposite, Yeah, I guess, you could liken it to when you might be, all of a sudden you have to pay, insurance on your house, or, you have a car accident or something, and you have to, buy life insurance or anything that might draw you into realizing that you just can't go out and drink in a bar every night and just, stumble your way to the coffee shop and, hope things turn out for the best. You actually, you're an adult now.
What from going from being the recording engineer and all the backgrounds that you have, what making music, and obviously, like you said, you're good friends with Chris now, like what during this time, what has it brought for you personally? Just
well, do you mean producing the records, Heather?
well, just what music in general just brings to you, just because I feel I'm very much a music lover, but even more during this time, because I'm just like, I want connectivity when you don't have it as much, or just an escape, or the expression, just all of it. And I'm not making it and enjoying the process too. I'm just curious what it has brought into you.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the last couple of years gave me a chance to really, focus on the songwriting and pick the songs that I wanted to put on the record. And also the buildup of making it actually made the making of it that much more fun, because finally at that point, you know, we didn't have this other variant going around. At that point, we were able to get together in the studio and not really worry about it so much. So it was a, you know, a year and a half delayed. And when we finally got to do it, it was like a breath of fresh air. So in that respect, it was the anticipation that really brought the joy of when we finally got to make it. So I guess that's a good thing. And one of the good things about the pandemic was that it gave me anticipation and made the actual experience that much better when we did have it. But recording is one of my favorite things to do, you know, with the band. And I love, you know, getting the songs together and seeing how they come together and making the record and getting the final product in the can. You know, I like the whole process.
Do you have any? Oh, go ahead, Ann.
I was just gonna say, were there things that you did differently because you had that year and a half?
9th to celebrate the album coming out.
Well, we were going to have a show at one point, but we were right in thinking that, you know, it wouldn't have been a good time to do it just because of what was going on with the health and the mask and everything. So we're going to postpone it. We don't have a gig yet, but we're going to postpone a CD release, album release. Maybe summer even. I had some gigs that were canceled, you know, like everyone else. And I'm trying to reconnect with the promoters that had them going on to see if I can confirm those dates. But I don't have anything actually on the 29th for live performance, unfortunately. But we will have something soon after when the snow melts.
Good.
Are you and Chris gonna have a glass of wine or anything, or something just for yourselves, or no? You're just gonna put it out there and.
Well, we'll do something. We don't have it solidified yet, but we're gonna do something, something that may be smaller, not a big performance, but yeah, something that we can raise a glass to.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Well, I'm excited for more people to be able to hear it.
Oh, thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Ann. Yeah,
It's
Make
been
so.
super nice to listen to it. Super nice. I will put this in the notes, but where can people find you online?
Well, in terms of streaming, my website is stevenoonansongs.com. You have to have the songs in there.
Yeah.
stevenoonansongs.com. And then I have, I'm on Pandora, on Spotify, Napster even, I'm on that. I'm on Deezer. You can actually, if you want a physical copy, I have those available too. It's going to be distributed digitally on the 29th worldwide. So I use CD Baby as a distributor. So it'll be pretty much anywhere you look. Apple Music. I do, as I said, I'm selling physical CDs if people like to actually have the physical liner notes, which I like. And then you get to see who played what, where, lyrics too, which I like. Yeah. But Steve Noonan Songs is also, you can get the physical CDs there. I have a store set up, and then I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, of course. I use Instagram more than the other two. It's kind of my favorite platform, but I'm on Facebook and Twitter too.
Nice.
So
nice. Well, congratulations, and as I said, can't wait for more people to hear it. So Saturday.
Right.
Saturday, yes. We'll remind folks to listen then. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ann. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and you too, Heather. I really enjoyed this.
Thanks.